the successor of the demon lord, saves his school from the forces of the dark side with the help of his harem. He is the only boy in the world with magic powers and creates a harem of the most powerful girls in his school. Kamito is not your average 16-year-old guy. He was trained as an assassin from a very young age and was brought up among the demon cultists, who thought of him as the successor to the previous demon king. Kamito is traveling through the forest in search of a girl named Claire. He suddenly comes upon her bathing in a pond. She gets angry at him and lashes out with her flame whip, which he dodges every single time. She accidentally ends up cutting the tree behind her with the whip, which starts falling on her, but Kamito pushes her away, saving her. After she gets dressed, Kamito tells her that she has been called back to the school, to which she replies that she needs to go to a temple, where she wants to make a contract with a spirit. Spirits are extremely powerful ethereal creatures that encase themselves in weapons to be used by powerful humans endowed with magical abilities. She currently has the flame spirit, which is bound to her and exists through her whip. She takes him to a temple, where they find a sword stuck in a rock. She walks up to the sword and uses her magic to take it out. She tries to forge a contract with her, but the sword rejects her and starts attacking her. Kamito saves her once again by pushing her out of the way, after which she calls upon her flame spirit to help tame the sword. Scarlet, the flame spirit, attacks the sword, but after a while, the sword is able to stab Scarlet, disabling it and forcing it to return inside her whip. The sword then returns to attack Claire again, but Kamito jumps in between, taking the hit on his hand, and tries to forge a contract with the sword himself. To both his and Claire's surprise, he is able to bind the sword to him successfully. Claire claims that it is impossible for a man to command spirits, but Kamito knows that there was only one male spirit user in history, and he was the Demon King who brought great destruction to the world. Unaware of this connection, Claire decides to bind him and take him back to school, as he is now a spirit user and should be at the school. She plans to establish a contract with him as soon as he reaches the school, but he quickly sneaks away and reaches the headmaster's office. Suddenly, the blue-haired knight Elise, who is in charge of protecting the school, opens the gate on him and attacks him, thinking that he is an intruder, but she is surprised to see a guy in the school, because only girls are supposed to use spirits. She believes he is an intruder because boys have no place at the school, but the headmistress seems to know Kamito and invites him inside. She is surprised to see that he has made a contract with the spirit and decides to transfer him as the only male transfer student to her school. She then calls on Elise and tells her to show him around the school. She shows him around and tells him that he is supposed to sleep near the horse stables in the small shed. He is then spotted by Claire, who waits for Elise to go away and then confronts him about it. She tells him to make a contract with her and become her servant because he stole the spirit she was trying to subdue. He refuses, but when she pesters him, he pins her against the wall because the only way to make a contract with humans is through a kiss. Now Claire is the one who refuses to make the contract, and a teacher comes there just in time to save her from Kamito's assault. He then goes to one of the classes and is surprised to see that Claire also attends the same class. He introduces himself and then goes to sit in the back, but Claire stops him and tells him to sit with her. A girl named Rinslet intervenes and tells her that Kamito was going to sit next to her, so back off. They get into a verbal spat, but are interrupted by a girl dressed in a maid outfit named Carol, who trips and falls on top of Kamito. The day somehow gets over, and he goes back to the shed to get some sleep, so he can better deal with what's coming tomorrow. As Kamito lies on his bed, he thinks about his purpose behind coming to the school. He is here to participate in the tournament called the Blade Dance, where spirit users fight against each other for glory and to get their wishes granted by the Spirit King. Just then, someone knocks at his door at night, and he opens it to find Rinslet with some food for him, as he hasn't eaten anything yet. He is thankful for the food, but Rinslet wants to put him under her debt so that he becomes her servant. Kamito refuses her, and after realizing that he isn't a simp, she settles for being his friend. Just then, Claire arrives behind her with a handful of canned food for Kamito to eat. The two girls get into a verbal scuffle over the only boy in the school again and again, and they end up calling upon their spirits. Rinslet's spirit is a freezing wolf, which she uses to fight Claire's fiery cat, both of whom are equally matched. During the battle, Claire accidentally sets fire to Kamito's shed, and when Rinslet tries to put it out with an ice arrow, she basically demolishes the entire shed. As Rinslet tries to pass the entire blame to Claire for setting the shed on fire, Elise arrives with 2 cronies, and she tells them that they will receive punishment for using spirits to fight within school property. Before going, the 2 girls accompanying her start mocking the families of Rinslet and Claire. They say that Rinslet comes from the family of a backwater noble, while Claire isn't even a noble, but a trader's younger sister. This enrages them both, and they challenge Elise and her cronies to a duel. Elise accepts the duel, making it a 3-on-3 including Kamito. Because Kamito has nowhere to go, he is allowed to stay with Claire and finds that her room is a mess, and she uses her fiery cat as a housekeeper. Kamito finds that Claire is a big fan of the 50 Shades series and also learns that she is a social outcast with no friends. He is concerned because she needs at least 5 members on her team if she wants to participate in the festival called the Blade Dance, but Claire tells him that she will be fine now because she has him as her servant. She then gives him some canned food because she doesn't know how to cook and goes to the bathroom while he is cooking. Kamito suddenly hears Claire scream, and he sees that she was attacked by a water spirit that went rogue. Kamito gets rid of the spirit and comforts Claire, while asking what happened to her. As they have dinner, she tells him that she has never seen a spirit go rogue without provocation. After that, Kamito asks her why she wanted to get a stronger spirit when she already has Scarlet, and Claire shows him her family crest, and he realizes her entire backstory. Claire's family was a powerful noble family until 4 years ago, when her elder sister Rubia stole the most powerful fire spirit and ruined her nation single-handedly. Claire wants to grow stronger so that she can meet her sister again and ask her why she destroyed everything. As they head to the duel after that, Kamito thinks that he and Claire are similar because he has also been looking for someone he lost in the last 3 years. They soon come to an ethereal gate that will take them to the world of spirits, where they will duel Elise and her team. They teleport to the world of spirits, and Claire explains that even if they get serious damage here, they won't die, but Kamito knows that the mental recoil of fighting here can still be immense. Claire assures him that she can handle it, and she wants to defeat Elise, or she won't be able to fight in the Blade Dance tournament. Claire talks about Ren Ashbel, the undisputed champion of Rain Dance, who was going to appear again this year, and claims that she helped clean up her sister's mess too. That is why she adores her. As they keep on talking, they arrive at the battle zone, where Rinslet and her maid are already waiting for them. Just after they meet, they are confronted by Elise and her friends, who had been waiting for them. Elise declares that they will end this battle soon and calls upon her spirit, which is an eagle, to attack Kamito, who dodges out of the way. He summons his sword, but it turns out to have shrunk because it has not accepted him as its master yet. As Kamito gets attacked by the eagle again, one of the 2 girls attacks him with her ice spirit, while the other one attacks him with a giant rock hammer. Before she could hit him though, Rinslet hit her with her freezing arrow, removing her from the battle. Claire whips and binds the other girl, and she tells Kamito to go ahead and deal with Elise. He throws his dagger at her, but she slashes it away easily. After that, she transforms her eagle into a lance, and Kamito says that she looks pretty. Elise has no answer to the smooth criminal and attacks him. Kamito dodges while Claire and Rinslet attack Elise, but their attacks cancel each other out before harming her. Elise tries to attack Kamito again, but he tells her to stop and look behind, as a big portal opens out of which a spirit demon arrives with a young girl, who seems to know Kamito well. Kamito and Elise quarrel about who should face the powerful demon spirit, but Claire tells them to back off because she wants to fight it. Kamito realizes that she is planning to make a contract with the demon spirit and tells her that she isn't strong enough, but Claire doesn't want this rare chance to be wasted. Despite Kamito's protest, she runs up to the demon spirit and tries to take it down on her own. She uses her flaming whip and attacks the demon multiple times before throwing a fireball at it. After the dust settles, she sees that the demon is still alive and completely fine. Claire is totally exhausted by now, and the demon blows her away with its dark breath. Kamito decides to intervene and save Claire because he knows no one else can help her right now. He runs towards her as the demon starts to approach her, but before it could do that, Scarlet, the flame cat spirit of Claire, appears out of nowhere and decides to protect its master at any cost. It attacks the demon, hitting it and pushing it to the ground before charging at it head first. Claire tells Scarlet to back off, as she isn't strong enough to deal with the demon, but Scarlet is hellbent on protecting Claire, and in the process, gets devoured whole by the demon. Claire falls on her knees and starts crying for her poor spirit, who was her only friend, and the demon walks towards her again. This time, Kamito moves as fast as possible and finally manifests the full power of his wild spirit. He summons his sword and runs towards the demon, attacking it with a single slash, which is so powerful that it cuts the demon into 2 pieces, killing it. It starts raining as he runs towards Claire, and she holds on to him, crying. She asks him why he didn't show his powers before to save Scarlet, before cursing herself for being so weak. Suddenly, Kamito feels dizzy and falls unconscious because he used way too much energy. He wakes up the next day in an unknown room and feels a bump in his blanket. He removes it to see a naked young girl curled up inside. He gets scared that his name will end up on Epstein's list at this rate, and then the girl wakes up, calling him master. He asks her about herself, and she replies that she is his contracted spirit named EST. Just then, Rinslet arrives in his room and explains that once he got unconscious, she had him put in her spare bed. He thanks her and asks about Claire, to which she replies that she hasn't come out of her room yet and is depressed. He takes his leave and dresses EST up before moving outside. He finds that after going to the spirit world, he seems to have lost his ability to return her to her sword form, but EST feels that he is subconsciously trying to not strengthen his contract with her. She can sense his dark past, and Kamito apologizes to her, but she doesn't mind. He then asks her why a great spirit like her chose to form a contract with him when she had rejected other people before, and she replies that she felt he was just like her. Suddenly, Elise comes there and points her sword at Kamito's neck, threatening to call the FBI on him, but EST twists her sword as Kamito introduces her as his spirit weapon. After that, she tells him that both of the girls with her are in the hospital wing and should be fine. But when he asks about Claire, she has no idea. Elise says that she might have gone to a military contract ceremony to get a new spirit, and Kamito thanks her as she runs to find Claire with EST. He knows that to win a spirit at the contract ceremony, Claire needs to win a blade dance contest, but since she has no spirit right now, she will lose if she fights in the blade dance. However, he has no idea that Claire is determined to win a new spirit at all costs, and when the shady spirit who knows Kamito approaches her with an offer to grow powerful, she takes it without hesitation. Claire enters the tournament and fights a giant crystal golem. She tries to whip the golem, but it does not take any damage and instead knocks her to the ground with its powerful punches. She gets up, cursing her weakness, and then attacks the golem with a fireball, but a mirror spirit reflects it back at her, and she barely dodges it. Claire is on the ground, and her opponents taunt her, telling her to give up or she will die. They also insult her older sister, and Claire can't let it slide. She gets up and decides to use the dark power the shady woman offered her without knowing the risks she will take. Just as she activates that power, Kamito arrives at the scene to find a dark aura radiating from Claire's body as a demonic fire cat comes out to fight by her side. The dark aura spreads and infects all the spirits in the area, turning them berserk. The berserk spirits fight each other, and everyone in the audience and the contest run away from the ground. EST tells Kamito that it is the work of a mad spirit that steals the sanity of other spirits so that they fight till they die. Claire is standing in the middle of the ground, seemingly possessed, and EST tells Kamito that the Hellcat in front of Claire is Scarlet, possessed by a demon. She claims it was resurrected using dark magic, and if it is not freed, the spirit will cease to exist. Kamito calls EST for help and transforms her into a sword as he runs towards Claire. The Hellcat runs towards him, but he dodges it and stands in front of Claire, waking her up. She is aghast to see the destruction her choices have caused, but despite that, she is adamant that she needs power. She recalls the terrible past where her family suffered because of her sister's actions and tells Kamito that he won't understand how she feels. Kamito tells her that she is not alone anymore and he will fight by her side, and she is left speechless as he accepts his help. Suddenly, the Hellcat attacks them, and Kamito stops it with his sword. He informs her that Scarlet is still alive and is currently inside the body of the Hellcat, but she has lost her mind and will attack anyone discriminately. Claire declares that it is her fault that Scarlet is suffering, and she uses her flame magic to burn the dark contract mark on her hand, which affects the Hellcat. Kamito takes advantage of the situation by attacking the Hellcat, killing it, and releasing Scarlet from within, who is reborn as a kitten. Claire is relieved that Scarlet is back with her, and Kamito asks her where she made a contract with the mad spirit. Before she can reply, a girl with black wings appears in front of Kamito and asks him if he does not like her present. Kamito recognizes her as Reshia, who was his contracted spirit once but has now gone over to the dark side. Kamito can't believe that he is seeing her again, but Reshia tells him that they will have their reunion another time because right now she has another gift for him. She uses her dark magic to possess a giant spirit stored in the capsule overhead, as Claire tells Kamito that she was the one who forced her to make a contract with the resurrected Scarlet. Tired of watching anime on your phone or laptop screen? Well, I've just leveled up my anime watching experience from a small monitor to an epic 130-inch display with this incredible mini Flix projector. It's literally like having a personal theater packed with built-in apps like YouTube, Crunchyroll, Netflix. It's every anime lover's dream come true. So what are you waiting for? Click the link below to learn more and use the code ANIME to get 20% off your first order. Back to the video. The dark magic-possessed capsule falls to the ground, and Kamito asks Reshia why she is doing this. She replies that he will understand everything soon, and then sprouts black wings again as she flies away. Kamito tells her to stop, but it is no use, and he is dumbfounded because he knows it is his fault that Reshia turned to the dark side. As he is lost in thoughts, Claire pulls him to safety because the giant spirit has awakened and gone berserk. They hide in an alley where Claire interrogates him about the girl in black, and Kamito replies that she was once his contracted spirit. She is taken aback to hear this, but she tells him to stop being an MO because right now they need to stop the giant berserk spirit before it destroys everything in its path. He is still too mopey, and Claire kisses him to snap out of it, and it works better than she expected. Claire summons her whip again as she chases after the corrupted spirit that has broken through the walls of the arena. She knows that it is too much for Scarlet to face the spirit when she has just revived, so she wants to back Kamito up while he takes down the big spirit. They run towards the demon, and Kamito uses his sword to slash at his ankles, making it lose balance and drop to one knee. The demon tries to punch him, but he dodges and slides up to his eyes, stabbing him. The demon again tries to hit him, but Claire uses her whip to stop him, giving Kamito the opportunity to put all his energy into one single attack, slashing the demon in half and killing it. Kamito collapses after expending too much energy, and as Claire cares for her, she thinks that his style of fighting is similar to that of the legendary blade dancer, Ren Ashbel. Soon after that, Kamito and Claire form a team in order to improve their ranking enough to compete in the next blade dancer tournament. Both of them are very strong, but they have almost no teamwork, and they also lack 3 members to complete their team. The teacher instructs them to find more members, but since Claire is confident that they can win, they go into battle against another team that has a lot of members, but whose individual strength is very low. This forces them to use their teamwork to their advantage, and the other members buy time for one of their teammates, who has to perform a ritual dance to call upon her spirit, which entices all the wild beasts in the area and sends them towards her enemies. Kamito and Claire can't deal with the horde of wild beasts and lose the battle, and the teacher tells them that they both fight like solo players. She asks them to complete a team of 5 members by the end of the month. Later, they go to a cafe to grab something to eat, where they meet with Rinslet, whom Kamito asks to join them for lunch. Claire protests for a bit, but then agrees, and they talk about the blade dance competition. Both Claire and Rinslet say that they can't find anyone who can match them, refusing to ask the other to join their team because of their pride. Kamito is done with their stupid passive-aggressive war and suggests to Claire that they should let Rinslet join their team because she is strong and lonely. Claire protests, saying that she can't even maintain teamwork, but as Kamito pesters her, she agrees to ask her out. However, Rinslet says that she is welcome to join her team instead, and both the prideful girls are in a stalemate when Elise walks up to Kamito and invites him to join her team. Kamito feels tempted to join her team because she is strong and being with her gives him better chances to enter the tournament, but he refuses for the sake of Claire because he feels that she won't be able to bear the shock of being left alone by him. As Claire thanks Kamito for sticking with her, Elise informs him that he has been called by the headmistress. He goes to meet her, and she mocks him for losing the battle against such a weak team, and tells him that she can't even believe that he is the same person who was known as the strongest blade dancer 3 years ago. Kamito is irritated and asks her if she called him here just because she wanted to rub salt on his wounds, but the headmistress then tells him that she wants him to meet with someone. On her cue, a girl his age walks into the room, claiming to be a transfer student and a princess from a neighboring kingdom. She is quite curious about Kamito, since he is a male spirit user, and tells him that her name is Fiona. As Fiona looks at Kamito, she hopes that he realizes that they met a few years ago when she was wandering in the forest and a demonic tree attacked her. Fiona was on her edge then because she failed to summon her spirit to fight the demon. But then Kamito appeared out of nowhere and made quick work of it. However, as she saw the dark blade he was using, Fiona accused him of being a thief because that was the weapon of Ren Ashbel, the greatest blade dancer. Kamito was nervous and asked his contracted spirit Reshia what he should do, but she refused to give him any suggestions now that he was caught. So he had no choice but to reluctantly reveal that he is a cross-dresser and takes part in the tournament as Ren. Fiona was initially disgusted upon learning this fact, but seeing that Kamito was really kind and simple, she decided to keep his secret from the world. He carried her back to the academy, where she thanked him and asked him for his real name. He obliged and introduced himself to her, and they promised to meet each other again. That is the entire reason Fiona is at the academy, and she is upset that he doesn't recognize her. Kamito kneels before the princess, who tells him there is no need for that because she is no longer a royal. She tells him that 4 years ago, after Claire's sister Rubia angered the Fire Spirit King and ran away, the Parliament tried to nominate her as the next Grand Priestess to serve the Spirit King in Rubia's place. However, Fiona declined their nomination and instead chose to get off the grid after stepping down as a member of the royal family. Kamito has heard that story, but he doesn't know why Fiona turned down the important role of being the Grand Priestess. The headmistress then tells Kamito that his job is to act as the bodyguard for the princess. She claims that it is an S-rank mission that is dangerous but also equally rewarding, and if he and his team complete it, they will get a boost in their team ranking. Kamito is interested and asks for the details of the gig. The headmistress tells him that he needs to escort the princess on a visit to an abandoned mining town because, recently, many strange earthquakes have been taking place there. He asks what the need is for bodyguards if they are just investigating natural phenomena, and the teacher comes there to inform him that a military-grade spirit is there, which is powerful enough to destroy a city in one day. The spirit in the town had been sealed, but if the earthquakes are being caused because the seal is about to break, Fiona will have to conduct a ritual to reseal it. After hearing everything, Kamito says that he needs to talk things out with Claire before giving an answer, and Fiona gets on the edge as she hears the name of Rubia's little sister. Kamito and Fiona leave the office, and he asks her if she is okay with him being her bodyguard. Fiona tells him that she specifically requested him and starts aggressively flirting with him, even revealing that she knows he is Ren Ashbel. She hopes that he remembers her, but it is of no use. Just then, Claire walks in on them, and she is about to attack Kamito again when she notices Fiona. Kamito takes Fiona to Claire's room, and she is not happy that she has been given the same living quarters as her. On top of that, Kamito takes Fiona's side because she subtly threatens to expose his cross-dressing fetish to Claire. Claire is upset upon hearing this and complains that the room will be too cramped if the princess stays with them. Kamito pleads that he will leave the room for them so that they can have it to themselves, but Claire doesn't want him to stay away from her, especially because she knows how girls are attracted to his riz. Fiona gets jealous seeing how close they are, and she asks Claire about her relationship with Kamito. She replies that he is her servant, and they have even kissed to seal the deal. This infuriates Fiona, who challenges Claire to a duel for rights over Kamito. She tells her that if she wins, she can have the room and Kamito to herself and do whatever she pleases with him. Claire takes her challenge and summons her whip, but Fiona doesn't want to fight with her because she has other plans in mind. She challenges her to a cooking challenge, and Kamito is not so sure about judging it. Claire presents the judges with a plate full of charcoal, and Fiona cooks up a soup made purely of red chilies, and needless to say, both of them lose. Later at night, when Kamito is taking a bath, he is interrupted by EST, who informs him that people are fighting outside. Claire and Kamito both run outside immediately and reach just in time to save Elise, who is being attacked by a mysterious male spirit user who can command 2 spirits. The attacker seems to recognize Kamito and mocks his weakness, saying that it wouldn't be fair to kill him when he is so weak. He reveals that he already has what he came here for, and Elise informs Kamito that he has stolen some secret documents from the library. Claire attacks the mysterious man and then chases after him along with Kamito. She tries to attack him by using her flaming whip, but he dodges every single one of them and eventually manages to give her the slip after she blocks her path by bringing down a tree. Kamito goes after the man and is attacked by him, who claims that he still has some skills despite falling from his original power. He summons a third spirit and tells the stunned Kamito that the demon lord could summon 72 spirits, so this much is nothing for him because he is the self-proclaimed successor of the demon lord. The attacker introduces himself as Gio as he crosses swords with Kamito. Claire has prepared an attack in the meantime, and she tells Kamito to dodge before throwing fireballs at Gio, who commands a fourth spirit to protect himself and blows away Claire instead. Kamito is worried about her, but then Gio puts his sword on his throat, saying that he is going to die now, but he is interrupted by Fiona, who throws a magic crystal at him to stop him. Gio cuts the crystal, but gets blinded by the light, and Fiona declares that she won't let anyone harm Kamito, even though she is trembling from fear. Gio gets pissed at her and attacks her with his light element spear, and Fiona is too scared to move, recalling a traumatic past incident. Kamito runs in front of her at the last moment and deflects the attack, but he also gets hit and falls to his knees. Gio mocks him, saying that he has really fallen if he is trying to save worthless people, but he runs away as more reinforcement from the school comes. Claire checks up on Kamito and asks him who the man was. He has no idea about it, but then suddenly they turn around and find that Fiona has lost consciousness. In her dreams, Fiona sees the time when she served alongside Rubia, Claire's elder sister, who was the grand priestess of the Fire Spirit King. One day, Rubia decided to steal the strongest fire spirit and set the temple on fire, while Fiona was the only one left standing in her way. She summoned her spirit, a powerful knight, but all it took was one attack from Rubia to destroy her spirit and the mark of their contract. Fiona wakes up in a cold sweat as the dream ends, and soon, Kamito pays her a visit. She inquires about his shoulder, and he tells her that it wasn't serious because Claire called for some medicine right away. Fiona apologizes for being so weak that he got injured while protecting her, but he thanks her for saving him before that. Kamito sits on her bed and then tells her that the knights are still looking for the culprit, but it has been decided to go ahead with the investigation in the mining town. He claims that they have to talk about something important before that, but then Claire arrives at the room and demands Kamito explain what is going on. She summons her fire whip to punish Kamito, but he just picks up Fiona, jumps out of the window, and heads into the forest to talk in private. Fiona tries to seduce Kamito, but he is not going to be sidetracked and asks her how she knows that he is Ren Ashbel. She sighs that he doesn't even have any clues about meeting her before and gives him his first hint, saying that they met once in a forest. Kamito doesn't recall anything from that, so she gives him another hint, which is blade dance, and he interprets that she was one of his opponents. However, when Fiona gives him his final hint and holds up her hair like ponytails, he realizes that she is the girl he saved in the forest. He is taken aback, saying that she has changed a lot, and Fiona is dejected that he did not fulfill the promise that he made to her back then. She forgives him for not coming to meet her, and then reveals that she came to the school because she heard a rumor about him that a male spirit user stopped a giant spirit all by himself. She comes clean and says that she always planned to blackmail him about his secret so that he would join her team, because if she joined the team of Ren Ashbel, she would be able to win the Blade Dance tournament. She claims that if she wins the tournament, she will get her honor and her position back, and all the people who called her a useless princess will know that she is still worthy. Fiona asks Kamito if he is not angry that she just tried to use him, and he replies that the headmistress always tries to use him, and Claire also treats him like a servant, so he doesn't see a problem with one more girl. Just then, Elise and her group spot them, and she is furious that Kamito is on a date with a new girl. To make matters worse, Fiona starts saying that they were filming for her OnlyFans, and Elise decides to arrest Kamito. Her cronies stop her, saying it is against the rules, but then Kamito asks her what she was doing in the forest so early in the morning. Elise replies that they are searching for the attacker from the other day to apprehend him and get back the stolen documents. She curses Gio, saying that because of him, the name of her knight order was tarnished, and she will make him pay at any cost. Kamito suggests that she join forces with his team because they are heading to the mining town as well, but Elise wants her knight order to handle things on their own. The next day, Kamito and his group are ready to leave for their mission, and Rinslet has joined them too by currying favors with Claire. They ride horses, and Fiona gets to ride with Kamito because she doesn't know how to ride horses, making the other two jealous. They soon reach the abandoned mining town, and they start exploring it. Fiona spots an altar and finds that someone has cooked here. She believes that whoever it was did a ritual for unbinding the seal on the special military-grade spirit. However, she thinks that the ritual did not succeed because the seal was quite complex. Just then, they hear loud explosions coming from deep within the cave that shake it, and the group rushes inside, where Elise is engaging Gio in a battle once again. He has already defeated her cronies, and as Elise attacks him, he easily dodges and then taunts her for being too weak. She uses her most powerful attack on him, but he simply uses a mirror spirit and reflects that attack on her. He is about to finish the defeated Elise when Kamito and his group come running to save her. Kamito charges at Gio, who uses a poisonous smoke spell to decapitate his enemies while protecting himself with a wind barrier. Elise is also affected by the poison, but she gets up and then attacks Gio, finally landing a hit on him. He is enraged and summons his sword to attack her, but Claire throws a fireball at him, and using that as a cover, Kamito rushes in to deliver a blow. Gio dodges his attack, and then tells Kamito to not spoil the fun because he plans to kill the girl now. Kamito tells him that he won't allow him to harm his friends, and Claire and others come to back him up. While Fiona takes care of Elise, Claire and Rinslet back Kamito up. Gio challenges him to a sword fight, and Kamito tells him that his third-rate sword cannot compare to EST. They clash, and Kamito asks Gio what his objective is. He replies that he wants to defeat him and prove to everyone that he is the true successor to the Demon Lord. Kamito tells him to snap out of his delusions, and with a powerful strike, he shatters Gio's sword. However, Gio has more where that came from. After his second sword is shattered, he summons a third and puts Kamito on the edge. Claire catches his hand with her whip to support Kamito, but he attacks her using a rain of ice bullets, and her fire attack is not enough to guard against it. Kamito gets distracted as he sees Claire get injured, and Gio attacks him again, asking if the legendary Ren Ash Bell has fallen so low. Suddenly, Rinslet attacks him with her ice arrows, and Kamito jumps up just in time. However, Gio protected himself using an earth spirit, and then he uses it to attack Rinslet and pin her to the wall. Kamito is furious and attacks Gio again, but just as he slashes through his rock shield, his sword shrinks because he has run out of power. Gio laughs at him, saying that he is no longer the strongest spirit user, not because he was out of business for 3 years, but because of his compassion. He jumps up, summons his light spear, and throws it at Fiona and Elise. Kamito realizes that, and he steps in front of the spear and tries blocking it with his short sword. Kamito falls after taking damage, and as Fiona rushes to check up on him, she finds that everyone else has already been defeated. As Kamito gets back, Gio approaches him, saying that he has become much weaker now that he is concerned about the well-being of his friends behind his back. Kamito tells Fiona to get away since his fight is not yet over, but Gio says it will soon be. He declares that he will now use one of his strongest spirits that he got from Reshia, and Kamito is aghast. However, before they can fight, Fiona barges into their conversation and tells Gio to shut up. She declares that she will stop him and bring him to justice in the name of the royal family, and she gathers her power as she brings forth a bloodstone, which is a magic crystal containing an immense amount of power. Gio attacks her before she can complete her attack, but it is too late, and Fiona releases the power of the bloodstone towards him. The explosion from her attack causes a great deal of damage to the surroundings, and as Kamito looks for his friends through the smoke and rubble, Claire tells him that Gio probably escaped alive. Kamito then asks Fiona what she used earlier, and she tells her it was a royal treasure called the Bloodstone that has the power to temporarily seal off the power of high-level spirits. She gets sad as she claims that she was saving the Bloodstone as her trump card during the Blade Dance tournament, but Kamito wants to know why she has to rely on it. Fiona sighs as she realizes that she cannot hide the truth from her friends any longer and explains that after the terrible incident with Rubia, she lost her contracted spirit. Because of that, she was kicked out of her family and lost the power to become the next Grand Priestess. She admits to cheating in the entrance test for the school because she used magic stones to make it look like she was controlling spirits. Claire asks her why she would go so far, and Fiona replies that she wanted to be with Kamito. That was just one of her reasons, and the main reason was that she wanted to win the blade dance and have her wish granted. Claire tells her that if she wants to win, she should have gone with another team because they are bottom feeders right now, but Fiona claims that only they would accept someone like her. After that, she asks Kamito and Claire what they plan to do with her now, because she is doubtful if they will really accept her into their team now. They accept her into their team, saying that she has already saved their lives a few times, but as the two girls are quarreling over Kamito, the cave starts shaking. Kamito wonders if the special spirit sealed here has started breaking through the seal, but Fiona is confident that Gio won't be able to break the seal so easily. Claire believes that the documents he stole from the school will help him, but then Elise replies that the document is in code and he won't be able to solve it. She then tells Kamito that she has not yet recovered from the poison and cannot contribute to the fight, and Rinslet says the same thing. Kamito realizes that only he, EST, Claire, and Fiona can fight, and they must stop the spirit from being released. Fiona assures them that if they can reach the seal in time, she will perform the spirit dance ritual to make sure to reinforce the seal. EST tells Kamito that she can sense the location of the seal and asks him to pat her head and praise her. Kamito does so, but then the ground starts shaking again, and he realizes that they cannot afford to waste any more time. On the other hand, the injured Gio reaches Rashia, who tells him that Kamito and others are heading towards the seal. He wants her to lead him there so that he can finish Kamito, but Rashia warns him against it, saying that Kamito is the true successor of the Demon Lord, and he cannot win against him. Gio is furious and threatens to subdue Rashia, but she simply vanishes. Meanwhile, Kamito feels unwell as he travels to the seal, and Claire complains that EST is taking too long to lead them. Kamito tells her to stop picking on EST because she was sealed for 1,000 years and won't remember the path accurately. They soon arrive at the shrine where the special spirit is sealed. They see a giant door with the marks of different spirit kings, with one of them being scratched off. EST uses her power to unlock the door, which leads them to a room containing a giant magic crystal sealed by magical chains. Kamito praises EST again, making the other two girls jealous. Fiona says that now she can perform the spirit dance here, but before that, she needs to purify herself, and Claire joins in, saying that bathing in the magic water will replenish her powers too. They send Kamito outside to guard the door while they take a dip. As he stands outside, he keeps thinking about Gio and why he keeps thinking that he is the next Demon Lord. Just then, he senses his presence and commands EST to turn into a sword once again, right as Gio makes his entrance. As they engage in a fight, Claire and Fiona are worried about Kamito. Claire is torn between staying back to guard Fiona and helping Kamito, but Fiona tells her that she doesn't need anyone's protection. Outside, Kamito overwhelms Gio and shatters his sword before pinning him to the ground. However, before he can deal a finishing blow, he notices Gio activating another spirit, so he backs up. He has now realized that Gio was trained in the same academy as him to become the new Demon Lord. Gio proudly declares that he was the first successful test subject who could master more than one spirit, like the Demon Lord, but Kamito tells him to stop bluffing. He has decoded that Gio has not contracted the spirits, but instead, he has sealed them for one-time use. Kamito calls him a loser, adding that he can't be a Demon Lord if he isn't even a real spirit user. Gio is angry and charges at him, swearing that he will prove his strength by defeating him. Kamito dodges his attack and then kicks him in the face. Gio counters by using a fire spirit at him, but Kamito defeats it too. However, when Gio uses a dark magic stone to corrupt EST, Kamito drops his guard, giving Gio a chance to attack him. As he stabs Kamito, he claims that since he cannot treat his spirits as tools, he is too weak to be the Demon Lord. Kamito falls to his knees as he realizes that Gio was using the high-level spirits sealed in stones. He insults him, but Gio doesn't care at this point because he is certain of his victory and declares that he will take Kamito's spirit sword after he is dead. However, Kamito tells him that he is not fighting just him but his team, and suddenly, Claire grabs Gio's arm with her whip. He mocks her for the useless attack, but then thanks her for opening the door of the seal room for him. However, then he sees Fiona there, and is taken aback as she starts performing a spirit dance. As a result of her dance, the spirits sealed in Gio's body start to go mad, and he suffers from great pain. He tries to attack Fiona, but Claire whips his weak attacks away because now he can no longer properly control his spirits. Gio falls to his knees just as Fina completes her dance, but before Kamito can interrogate him, Rashia makes her appearance. Kamito asks her if she is the mastermind behind all this, and she affirms, saying that her partner wants to release the special spirit sealed here. He asks her about the partner she is talking about, and Rashia replies that he is not awakened enough to know about her yet. After that, she turns her attention towards Gio, who demands that she lend him her power so that he can kill Kamito. She scoffs at him, saying that he cannot defeat Kamito right now, but she feels that it might help awaken his power as the true demon lord if she fights against him. Rashia transforms into a sword and goes to Gio, breaking Kamito's heart. He is furious and rushes at him, but Gio launches a dark thunder attack at Fina. Kamito sacrifices himself to save her because he doesn't want to lose her, and Fina gets sad. She realizes that she must protect him this time, and she decides to wager everything on summoning her contracted spirit, whom she had not been able to call for a long time. To protect Kamito, whom she loves with all her heart, Fina is able to manifest her spirit knight, and Gio shits his pants as he sees it. He still attacks it with black thunder, but the knight blocks it. Gio is on the edge, and then Kamito charges at him, swearing to become stronger than his prime to protect all his friends, and slashes Gio, bringing him down. A few days later, Kamito wakes up in his room and begins wondering what Rashia is up to when he feels a bulge in his blanket. He lifts it up, hoping to find EST, but instead finds Fina there, who claims to be giving him some of her spiritual power to help him recover. Kamito thanks her and then asks her if she doesn't need to go back to her family now since she can use her spirit again. Fina says that she is not in a hurry and then kisses Kamito just as Claire arrives in the room. She is furious that they are getting close and starts fighting with Fina. Soon after that, Kamito and his team have a match with another team. They see 3 girls in front of them and speculate that the other 2 must be hiding in the forest for an ambush attack. Claire remembers the 2 girls she fought earlier for winning the summoning contract, and she feels obliged to finish her unfinished business. She asks Kamito and Fina to leave these girls to her and asks them to head to the forest. She creates a giant firewall between her and the enemies, and Kamito uses it to run into the forest, where he is attacked by a girl using a harp. She sends some Kung Fu Hustle-style sonic blades to cut him, and Kamito dodges them all, but he gets hit when they are returned by the mirror-type spirit behind his back. Kamito is cornered by the girls, who feel that if they keep their distance from him, he won't be able to attack them. However, Kamito transforms his sword into a dagger, dodges the girls' combo attack, and then throws his dagger at the one with a harp. She is knocked out, and her partner runs away in fear, but Kamito quickly defeats her too. He quickly returns to Claire, who is about to defeat the last of her opponents. Her fire magic is useless against the crystal golem, but as Fina buffs her power with spirit dance, she is able to defeat the golem using her whip. Claire and Kamito celebrate their victory, but then they turn around to see that Fina has been ambushed by a water spirit. Claire tries attacking it, but her fire-type attacks prove useless against it. The water spirit attacks her, and even though Kamito saves Claire, she attacks him, calling him a pervert. In the meantime, Fina is working on summoning her spirit knight, and she defeats the water spirit just by making it appear. With that, the girl who summoned the water spirit comes out and accepts defeat. Later, Claire exclaims that now they have won 3 battles in a row, and they are ranked as the 3rd strongest team in the school right now. Right above them is Elise and her team, but since 2 of their members are still injured, they may get demoted soon. She claims that if that happens, they will become the 2nd best team and earn the right to enter the Blade Dance tournament. As they are talking, the girls whom they defeated earlier come there to trash talk Claire and her sister. Claire is about to throw hands, but her friends stop her because getting violent outside duels can get them banned from entering the Blade Dance. The girls don't stop and keep insulting Claire's family, but then Rinslet appears there and calls the girls uncultured swines for picking up a fight with a helpless girl. They get furious and activate their spirit magic, but Rinslet is much faster than them and points her arrow at them, making them run away in fear. Claire thanks her, and then Rinslet says that she heard they won their battle today, so she wants them to treat them at a good restaurant. Claire and Fina refuse to let her pay for no reason, but then her maid comes there and clarifies that Rinslet just wants to eat with them. They accept her treat upon hearing this and decide to meet up later. In the meantime, Kamito attends his class and finds that Elise is also there. He approaches her, but her night training kicks in, and she almost stabs him for approaching her from behind. Elise tells him that she is struggling with her studies because of her night duties, and he takes a seat next to her. She then apologizes to him for all the times she has attacked him unprovoked, and Kamito doesn't mind because she has helped him a lot too. After that, she gets busy memorizing the entire book, and Kamito decides to help her by sharing his notes. Elise is thankful for that, and she nervously asks him if he is free after school because she wants him to teach her more. Kamito says that they can meet in the evening, and Elise is happy. Soon, the teacher comes and starts teaching them about cursed seals that can forcibly draw out powers from the spirits trapped inside them. Elise tells Kamito that her night order got information about a group of people who have infiltrated the school and are trying to sell the cursed seals to students before the Blade Dance tournament. After that, Kamito and his friends go out for lunch, and they notice that the academy is already preparing for the Blade Dance tournament. While other girls fight for his attention, Kamito notices Claire window shopping for some necklaces. As soon as he approaches her, she walks away, but then Rinslet tells him that Claire's birthday is coming close. Kamito praises her, saying that despite her prideful act, she really cares about Claire. He then notices the cat design pendant Claire was looking at and decides to gift it to her. After that, they sit to eat, and EST pesters Kamito to buy her the most expensive ice cream, and he can't refuse her. Other girls get jealous at this, and Claire starts quarreling with Kamito about spoiling his spirit. Later that evening, Kamito waits for Elise at the fountain so that he can tutor her, and she runs up to him, visibly exhausted, and apologizes for being late. Kamito doesn't mind it, and then asks her if she was in the Academy City earlier because he saw her while eating lunch. She replies that she was doing some shopping, and then Kamito tells her that they should head to the library because they are already late. Elise stops him, saying that she wants to study in her room, and invites Kamito there. As she goes to change into regular clothes, Kamito sits down and examines her room, which he finds more girly than he expected. He checks out a magic tablet on the table, which is full of his pictures as Ren Ashbel, and Kamito feels awkward seeing this. He wants to protect his secret from a fan like Elise at all costs, or she will be devastated. He also sees the picture of Elise with her elder sister on the tablet and feels like he has seen her before. Just then, Elise arrives dressed like a maid. Kamito is taken aback and asks what she is thinking, and she coyly replies that she wants to cosplay as his personal Amid. She is conscious of herself, but she still wants to do this for Kamito so that she can thank him for all the times he has helped her and the knights. She had heard from one of her friends that most men have a maid fetish, and she wanted to offer herself to Kamito in a maid uniform. He sighs, saying that he doesn't like maids, and Elise panics, fearing that he wants her to wear something more revealing. She points her sword at his neck until he changes his preferences, and then she serves him some food she prepared. Kamito likes it and compliments Elise, saying that she is wife material, and she gets too flustered by it. Next up, she tries to feed Kamito with her hands, and after a bit of resistance, he gives up and lets himself be spoiled. Later at night, Elise and Kamito go back to the garden, where she tells him that this is the first and last time he visits her room because soon her roommate will return and she won't allow any boys near her. Kamito jokingly asks how dangerous her roommate is, and Elise tells him about Val, her elder sister and the strongest spirit user in the school. She tells him that Val was adopted because she was quite strong, but since she lost to Ren Ashbel in the first round of the Blade Dance tournament 3 years ago, her position in the family has worsened. After that, Elise requests Kamito join the Knights because, after the recent incident, they have lost a good number of their combat force. She promises that he will be paid well, but he asks her why he needs to join it because any girl in the academy will be eager to be a knight. Elise says that it is not true because the people have started to lose faith in the Knights because of their failure in the incident with Gio. Seeing her look sad and doubtful about her future, Kamito agrees to join the Knights to help her. Elise thanks him, but Kamito says that if she wants to really thank him, she should pay him his monthly salary in advance. After that, Kamito returns to Claire's room and finds her trying to prepare some chocolate recipes for him. Kamito tells her to stop wasting food and announces that he will cook now, but Claire confronts him about leaving the room without telling her. She wants to know where he is, and Kamito tells her that Elise invited him for food because she wanted to thank him for all his help. Claire gets jealous upon hearing this and begins interrogating Kamito. He tells her that he went to Elise's room and it was clean and orderly, unlike hers, making her even more upset. He then tells her that Elise asked him to join the Knights, and Claire looks at him with hopeful eyes, wanting to hear that he refused her, but Kamito says that he accepted her request. Claire starts crying, saying that even though he is supposed to be her servant, he is favoring Elise over her, and she tells him to get out, claiming that she doesn't need him anymore. Kamito leaves, and Claire keeps on saying that she hates him. She runs to her bedroom and hides her face in the pillow, thinking that she was stupid to expect something from him. She feels that all the times Kamito stood by her side and even accepted to be her servant, he was just feeling bad for her because of her reputation. Just then, she hears the door opening and gets up, hoping that Kamito is back, but it's only Fiona. Fiona sits next to Claire and tells her to be honest about her feelings, while she sulks and cries. The next day, Kamito is at the Night Order's headquarters, where Elise is commanding everyone to be especially alert because a big festival is going to be organized today. She lectures them about keeping public order and preventing duels among spirit users, but none of them are actually listening to her. Kamito realizes that, despite being the captain, Elise holds no sway over the Knights. Soon, she finishes her speech and then introduces Kamito as the new member of the Knights, but before he can come ahead, the door suddenly opens and Val enters the room, telling Elise that she has lost a lot of pawns. She doesn't hesitate to call the Knights no more than disposable servants, and she insults Elise for being so weak. Elise tells her that she won't tolerate anyone insulting her Knights, but Val doesn't care and asks her if she is going to fight her over it. She says that it was a mistake to let her become the leader of the Knights and walks towards her, but then Kamito stands in between them and tells her to stop. Val says she has been curious about the male spirit user too, and she releases a powerful shockwave to see how strong he is. Her attack destroys the room and puts some girls out of commission, but the ones that are still standing pique her interest. Val tells 4 of them to join her team, and despite Elise forbidding them to, they gladly become her subordinates. She also wants Kamito to join her, but he refuses, saying that he is loyal to his friends. Val doesn't think much of it and leaves, telling him to stay out of her way if he doesn't want to get crushed. Elise is still recovering from the shock, but Kamito tells her that they must get ready for work now. They help the guests who have come to see the festival, break fights between people, and even deal with monsters. As Kamito talks with Elise about how hard the Knights worked, she starts feeling responsible for the 4 girls leaving them in the morning. Kamito tries to convince her that it is not her fault, but Elise knows that she is too weak to be the Knight Captain. She tells him that when Val was the captain, their group was quite strong and maintained discipline in the academy very strictly. However, Val was too proud and arrogant for her own good, and many girls rebelled against her, leading her to be removed from the position of leader. Elise says that she used to look up to her sister, but now she has become too much of a tyrant. Later, she gets hungry, and Kamito says that they should eat out, but she informs him that she has prepared food for both of them. They sit down to eat, but the rest of the Knights surround them. EST makes Kamito feed her, and he spoils her while she enjoys full attention from all the girls. After eating, she turns into her sword form to rest, and suddenly, Kamito notices Claire's spirit cat Scarlet. She runs away upon seeing him, and Kamito chases after him. He soon finds that Scarlet was leading him to Claire, who is not happy to see him and hides the bag she was carrying behind her back. She lashes out at him, saying that she doesn't want to see his face, but then she realizes that at this rate, they will quarrel like yesterday again. She swallows her pride as she tells Kamito to treat her to some cakes, and then she might forgive him for yesterday. Kamito apologizes, saying that he is busy with his night duties right now. He tells Claire that he was having lunch with the Knights just now and invites her to join them, but she gets jealous on hearing this and lashes out at him again. She says that she won't be with the Knights who keep insulting her sister, but Kamito assures her that things have changed now and Elise won't allow anyone to insult her. Claire gets even more upset as Kamito brings Elise into the conversation and starts crying, saying that he is supposed to be loyal to her. Just then, Elise comes there chasing after Kamito, and he assures her that everything is under his control here and they should get back to the patrol. That was the last straw, and Claire loses her shit. She throws her bag at Kamito, claiming that she doesn't need him anymore. She tells him to go and have fun with his other hoes, with tears rolling down her face. She runs away, and Kamito is left perplexed as he picks up the items in her bag. On the other hand, the two girls who tried to taunt Claire a few days ago see her alone and decide that it is their chance to teach her a lesson. Before they can follow her, a woman with pointed ears calls out to them and asks them if they want to become more powerful so that Claire cannot pose any threat to them. Unaware of this, Claire heads into the forest, cursing Kamito for ignoring her and focusing on the knights. She thinks that it is her birthday today, so he must pay some attention to her, but then wipes that thought away from her mind, thinking that there is no space for romance in her life because she must grow stronger and find her elder sister to know the truth behind her betrayal. Suddenly, the elf woman approaches her, remarking that she looks quite troubled. Before she notices it, Claire is trapped in a spider web by the elf woman. She confronts the woman about being the peddler of the cursed seals, and she doesn't make any efforts to deny it. She uses her hypnotizing abilities to control Claire and tempts her to make a deal with her for more power. But at the last moment, Kamito's face pops up in Claire's mind, and she breaks free of the hypnotism. She summons Scarlet and pushes the woman back before burning through the nets. Claire attacks her with her fire whip, recalling Kamito's promise that she would never need any shady methods to gain power. The woman is not harmed by her attack and then calls forth the two girls she just made a deal with. Claire is shocked to see them looking lifeless because they couldn't bear the stress of the new power they acquired. One of the girls releases her crystal golem spirit that has mutated because of dark magic, and it attacks Claire. On the other hand, Kamito is looking at the gift-wrapped disc that was in Claire's bag and wonders what is inside. He can't wrap his head around her behavior and worries about where she went, while Elise is in Delululand and thinks that they are on a date. She tries to walk in front of Kamito before he realizes she is acting weird, but she bumps into some men and he holds her hand so that she does not trip. Elise turns red with embarrassment and Kamito remarks that her temperature is quite high. She coyly replies that it is his fault and then tells him to take responsibility for this because he is the first boy she has held hands with. Kamito is taken aback on hearing this as the people watch him like he is some kind of molester, so he tries to get away from Elise, but she holds his hand instead. He leads her, still holding her hand, and Elise starts fantasizing about what comes next. She stops him next to a store to stare at a pretty dress, and then claims that she won't look good in it so that Kamito can praise her. He steers the conversation to ask her about the reason she became a knight, and Elise replies that at first she just wanted to be like her sister Val, who was hardworking and just. Ever since she was young, she wanted to be a perfect human like her, who saved everyone. That is why she applied to become a knight. But then it all changed when Val lost to Ren in the Blade Dance tournament 3 years ago. Since that day, her personality has changed, and she has begun chasing power for vengeance. Kamito feels guilty for that incident as Elise declares that her new purpose in life is to show her sister what it actually means to be a knight. Kamito asks Elise if she hates Ren, and she replies that she hated her when she defeated Val, but as she kept on progressing through the tournament, she began to adore her. Kamito gets gloomy as he says that Ren was just fighting for her sake and had no great goal in mind, but Elise doesn't believe that. She is convinced that Ren's blade dance was more noble than anyone else's, and that she was wielding her blade for others. Hearing her words makes Kamito feel a little better about himself, and he thanks her before asking her to join him on a shopping trip. He buys a gift for Claire because it is her birthday today, and then rants to Elise that he ended up fighting her. Elise tells him that it won't be difficult for him to reconcile with Claire because she really likes him. She asks him to go and talk with her when suddenly a huge explosion shocks the area and they run towards its source. They find a mirror-type spirit has gone berserk because of dark magic and is wreaking havoc everywhere. Kamito transforms EST into a sword to fight it, while Elise uses wind blades to bring it down. The spirit is quite strong and deflects her attack before pushing Kamito to the ground. Elise then notices a girl crying and rushes to save her from the possessed spirit, but Kamito is faster than her and reaches the girl first. However, he was not fast enough to avoid the attack of the mirror spirit and got seriously injured by its attack. Elise comes to his side and takes custody of the girl, while Kamito decides to get up and defeat the spirit despite his injuries. He runs towards the spirit, staking everything on one attack, and asks Elise for backup. She sends her wind spirit towards him, which helps him reach the high ground from where he attacks the mirror, but only manages to crack it. He falls to the ground, and the mirror spirit attacks him again, but this time, Claire's whip catches it and stops it. Kamito turns around to find Claire, who has been ragged after her battle, and she tells him that their fight is not going to be easy as the giant crystal golem climbs over a building to reach her. The crystal golem starts destroying the buildings as Claire explains that the masters of the two spirits bought cursed seals, making their spirits go out of control. She then notices Kamito's wound, but he says that he can still fight. He gets up and charges towards the spirits along with the two girls, but then someone attacks from the sky, destroying the two possessed spirits in an instant, but also causing severe damage to the surroundings and the people. Kamito looks up to notice Val in her transformer armor. She dispels her armor and descends, claiming that the two rogue spirits have been taken care of. Kamito lashes out at her, asking why she shot when she knew her attack could have put civilians in danger, and she replies that they were at fault for being in the range of her attack. Elise is appalled by her answer, but then Val starts insulting her instead, calling her weak and pathetic for being unable to handle these two spirits. She claims that Elise does not deserve to be a knight and starts walking away, but Kamito shouts at her to take her words back. He declares that he won't let her trample on her friend's beliefs as she pleases, but she replies that she was just spitting facts. She walks away and Kamito rushes at her, only to get blown away by her shield. He wakes up the next day and realizes that his body is in terrible condition. He notices the box in his pocket and finds that Claire had made chocolates for him. He eats them just as she comes with a towel, and she starts lecturing him about getting up when he is injured. He tries to show that he is fine, but realizes that he is not in the condition to get out of bed. Claire comforts him as she calls him an idiot, and then Kamito asks her how long he has been unconscious for. As he learns that he was sleeping for a whole day, Kamito is taken aback and nervously gives Claire her birthday gift, apologizing for being late. Claire is overwhelmed as she discovers the cat pendant she wanted and thanks Kamito before apologizing to him for picking up a fight with him. He also apologizes for not explaining things properly earlier, and just as the mood is about to get spicy, Faina intervenes and starts aggressively flirting with Kamito. After that, she gets to business and tells them that their opponent in the first round of the Blade Dance tournament has been announced, and it is the top-ranking team led by Val. Kamito is determined to defeat her and bring her down from her high horse, but Claire thinks he can't participate with his injuries. He says that if they can take care of Val and her armored spirit, everything else will be easy. However, Faina agrees with Claire that Kamito isn't going to fight tomorrow. Just then, Rinslet walks into the room and says that with her archery skills, she can assist them in taking down enemies from a long distance. Her maid interprets it as her intention to join their team, and Kamito holds Rinslet's hands, pleading with her to join their team. She has no reason to refuse him, so she joins his team. Claire is also glad to have her, but they still quarrel about who is the top gun on their team. As they are quarreling, another girl comes to their room to inform them about Elise, whose mental health has taken a hit after facing her sister the other day. As she is moping about it, Claire enters her room after burning through her lock. Elise says she can get her arrested for trespassing, but Claire is here to talk business. She tells her that Kamito wants to fight in the Blade Dance despite his injuries, and their opponent in the first round is Val. Elise panics on hearing this and says that no one can defeat her sister, but Claire reminds her that Ren has already done it. Elise says that Ren is a legend and no one else can compare to her, but Claire believes that their team can bring down even Ren if they work hard. She declares that they will win the Blade Dance, no matter who their opponent is, and grabs Elise by her collar, asking her if her resolve is so weak that she will give up without fighting. Her words awaken Elise's pride, and she pushes Claire back, declaring that she will also join the battle. Claire says that's the spirit and asks her to join their team because with her they will certainly win. However, Elise refuses her offer, saying that she can't betray her team, but her teammates were the ones who told Claire about her. They know that they won't heal in time for the tournament, but they want Elise to participate in it. She is upset because they want her to disband their team so that she can join Claire, but she cannot win against them and agrees to do as they say. She asks Claire to let her join her team, and she welcomes her. As the two girls join forces, their common enemy, Val, is out in the forests, hoping to win this tournament so that she can fight Ren Ashbel next. Suddenly, the green-haired elf woman comes there and asks her how her heart is holding up, and Val tells her to get lost. The woman tells her not to be too harsh because only she can help her subdue the cursed seal she carries in her heart, which will claim her life if it is left untreated. Val doesn't care if she dies in her quest to become more powerful because she feels her end goal is within her reach now. On the other hand, Elise soon reaches Kamito and asks him how he is doing, and he replies that he is fit enough to fight in the tournament tomorrow. After hearing this, Elise coyly hands Kamito a gift, saying that she wanted to acknowledge him as a member of the Knights and nothing else, and he just laughs at her tsundere behavior. She leaves with that, and Kamito once again assures her that they will win tomorrow's battle, unaware of the fact that Reshia is watching them, and she has plans of her own. The next day, the Blade Dance tournament starts between Team Val and Team Claire. Despite his will to fight, Kamito has been given a rest, and it is a 5 versus 4 battle. The crowd is certain that Val will win this battle with ease, and Kamito knows that she is really stronger than everyone else here. He knows that her teammates, the ones she poached from the Knights, are also quite skilled, but she doesn't plan to rely on them. He thinks that she is using them just to fill up the headcount and believes that it will give his girls a chance to defeat her. Val mocks Elise, saying that she should have been smarter than this and should have known not to fight against her, but Elise replies that she will prove that her way is right by defeating her. Val scoffs at her, promising to shatter her ideals and her dreams. Soon, the bells will ring, signifying the start of the duel. Claire looks at Kamito and clutches the cat pendant he gifted her before getting teleported into the spirit world. Once they are in the spirit world, the girls decide to act according to the plan. Elise is the front-line fighter, while Fiona is going to provide the group with support through her spirit dance techniques. Rinslet's role is to bring Val to the ground to end her advantage, and Claire plans to go ahead and scout the area for enemies. However, Val arrives there in her floating transformer armor and says that there is no need for that. She has left all her teammates behind because she deems them useless and claims that she is enough to beat their ragtag team. She points her guns towards Claire and her team and opens fire at them. However, none of her attacks connect because Rinslet used her quick draw skills and shot down all of her attacks mid-air. Val commends her, and Rinslet thanks her before shooting ice arrows that freeze her armor. She moves around, shooting Val from all sides, who claims that it is useless, but soon learns that she is taking damage because of it. Claire knew that Val's armor has high physical defense, but she is weak to magical attacks, which is why Rinslet was able to hurt her. Kamito is watching them along with other students on a magic screen, and he is impressed by Claire's plan. Claire then attacks Val with a fireball, and Elise joins her with a powerful wind cutter. Their combo attack covers her transformer armor and brings her down to the ground, but Val says that she is still far too strong for them to handle. She summons 2 lances from her armory and charges at them using Nitro Boost, but Fiona summons her Spirit Knight and blocks her attacks. Val tells Fiona that she thought she was smarter, but Fiona doesn't fall for her taunts. Val tries to shoot her point blank, but Claire pulls her guns using her whip and then climbs on her armor to attack her. She ties her whip around its arm and uses a powerful fire spell called Hellblaze, and Elise supports her with a powerful tornado. As the tornado carries Val away, Elise falls on her knees because she is running out of steam, and Claire declares that they have won. She calls Val an arrogant fool for coming to fight them alone, but Val replies that they are the foolish ones if they thought it would be enough to defeat her. She is completely fine and shoots Claire and her group again, who have no choice but to dodge her attacks. Rinslet tries to shoot her, but Val counters her attack with a laser beam. As Claire and her team keep getting attacked by Val, Kamito watches the fight and wonders how much spiritual power Val has, because just maintaining a giant spirit like hers will require a lot, and since she was spamming powerful attacks one after the other, she must have incredibly deep reserves of spiritual power. He realizes that she has grown much stronger in the past 3 years, and even he will struggle fighting against her. On the battlefield, Fiona is on edge because her Spirit Knight can't shield her team from Val's attacks anymore. Claire wants to create an opening, but Elise warns her that it is too risky. Claire taunts her by asking if she is going to chicken out now, and Elise regains her will to fight. Claire rushes ahead just as Fiona's Spirit Knight is defeated and calls out Scarlet in her cat form. Val attacks her with homing missiles, and Scarlet keeps the attack from reaching her master. Taking this chance, Claire gets close to Val and uses a body blast on her armor to melt it. Val claims that it is useless to break her armor using such puny magic, and then Rinslet shoots an ice arrow at the same spot, right before Claire dodges and uses another fire spell in that area. Because of the extreme temperature fluctuation, the armor starts to crack, and Val is shocked to see it. To finish things, Elise attacks the armor and shatters the cracked part before the damage spreads to the entire armor, which crumbles as Val is tossed into the air. She falls to the ground and her mask cracks as she tries to get up. Val declares that she won't lose so easily and begins to command the power of the cursed seal within her. She releases a dark aura, and her armor suddenly turns black, and the viewers are shocked to see it. EST tells Kamito that it is because of a cursed seal, which is slowly going berserk. Kamito wonders why someone as strong as Val would need to use a cursed seal, but then he notices her spanking two of her teammates away as they approach her. He realizes that she has no longer control over herself or her spirit. Soon, Val's spirit turns into a tentacle monster and grabs Claire and her teammates to absorb their energy. Kamito realizes that they are in a pinch and decides to help them. He asks EST to lend him her power, but she warns him that in his current physical state, he won't be able to last long. Kamito believes that he can take down Val quickly, and he steps into the magic circle with EST as he transforms her into a sword to enter the spirit world. In the spirit world, Elise is still trying to fight Val, even as Claire tells her to run to safety. She uses the power of her wind-type spirit and rushes at Val to stab her, but as soon as she makes contact, she feels all her power being sucked away. The dark tentacles grab her too, and Elise realizes it is the end for her as Val is about to punch her into oblivion. However, Kamito makes his entry right then and chops off the Transformer's arm while freeing Elise. He takes her to safety and frees the rest of his harem, where Claire lectures him about joining the fight when he is so injured. Kamito pats her head, saying that he must help his team when it is in trouble, and his words cheer up his other girls too. Kamito then steps forward to face the berserk Val, who can only think about Ren, and Kamito tells her that he will give her what she wants. He throws his shirt away as he charges towards Val and quickly slashes the ankles of her Transformer spirit. She catches him with the dark tentacles, but Kamito cuts through them easily and lands on the ground. Val finds that she has lost the function of her legs, but Kamito is not in good condition either. Despite that, he moves at lightning speed and cuts Val's armor, reminding the girls of Ren Ashbel's quick movements, and only Fina knows that he is Ren. Kamito soon realizes that he does not have too much time or power, and he must finish the battle quickly. He notices the source of Val's dark power within her heart and decides to use the overwhelming strength of EST to soothe her. However, Val has not given up yet, and she regenerates her destroyed arm and shapes it like a spear. Kamito knows that it is going to be tough to face her now, and as Claire learns from Elise that Val is more skilled in using the lance than her, she asks Kamito to run away. However, Fina says that they cannot afford to do that. She believes that Kamito will win, and that is why she uses a spell to use all her spiritual power to heal his injury. Kamito feels better, and Fina collapses, knowing that she has only given him temporary treatment. She starts losing consciousness as her friends surround her, and Kamito turns towards Val to face her. He dodges her attacks and then cuts her armor, and just then, his friends also back him up. Rinslet shoots ice arrows to restrict one of Val's arms, while Claire holds the other with her whip to give Kamito an opening. He runs towards her, and Elise gives him a speed boost using her wind. Kamito leaps at Val and pierces the cursed seal in her heart, bringing her to her senses. He tells Val that he will save her, and she realizes that he is Ren Ashbel. She falls to her knees, crying that she lost again, but Kamito tells her that it is not his victory alone this time. He says that he wouldn't have won without the help of his friends, and that is a power that he did not have 3 years ago. Suddenly, Val collapses, and the green-haired elf who gave her the cursed spirit says it is a shame that she lost her most precious lab rat. She has her eyes set on Kamito now, but as she is making plans to capture him, the headmistress comes there. The elf woman is shocked to see her because she used to be her teacher, and she backs away, realizing that she is screwed. The headmistress says that she will be punished for messing with her precious students and releases her dark spirit, which devours the elf woman whole. As the headmistress is returning, she notices Rishia's presence and realizes that she was the one who set up the elf to interfere with the school. Rishia tells her that she won't let her use Kamito as she pleases, and then she vanishes. Later, the medics arrive at the battlefield and take Val away, but not before she thanks Kamito for saving her and entrusts her little sister to him. The medics had declared that Val may lose her ability to control spirits, but Kamito is certain that she will recover from this. The next day, Kamito and his friends gather for a party to celebrate their victory, and the only thing they have on the menu is cake. The girls fight for Kamito's attention, and then Elise joins them, wearing the dress she was watching when she was with Kamito. He praises her, making the other girls jealous, and they forcefully feed him some cake. Soon after that, Kamito and his team depart for the inter-school blade dance tournament. Other students give them a grand farewell, and as they step on the teleportation circle, Claire tells Kamito that even though their first meeting was quite horrible, she is glad that he came into her life. They reach the Spirit Realm port along with other teams that will take part in the upcoming tournament, and a giant helicarrier descends to carry them to the floating island, where even stronger opponents and tougher challenges await our hero. That's it for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and watch this next video on screen.